Right, let's all play. Hi guys, slightly different tact to the Sunday. It's going to be a scale. It's going to be a scale, but we're going to look really more at how we build scales, and we're going to go through the notes, and we're going to start playing the scales. Actually, we're going to play them horizontally rather than vertically, and then from next week we'll probably start going through them vertically. This, with the information I did last time on octaves and how to use the cage chord system, we will go through 5 positions of the major scale, and then we'll go through all the different modes, and I'll explain what the modes are, how they work, and kind of try and put them in some context for you. But first, this lesson where we're going to go through the real basics. What are the notes that we have on the guitar and in Western music, to be more precise, and how do we build major scales, okay? So that's the first thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work along some strings. Hopefully you'll be able to see, but more than anything you'll be able to hear the notes. And I'm going to just talk through the notes. I'm going to talk through how we deal with the major scale. Okay, I'm going to go along the A string because we start with A, and that's the start of the alphabet, so it seems like a good place to go. On a guitar, the open A string is the second string down, and that is an A note, okay? Give it a bit more volume so it's a bit louder. So that's an A, okay? If I hold down at the first fret on the A string, that's an A sharp or a B flat. They are the same thing, okay? I won't go into now when they're different, but they are the same note, and sometimes you use A sharp, sometimes you use B flat. The next note, second fret, is a B. Then the third fret we've got a C, so there's no B sharp or C flat, it goes straight to C. Then we've got C sharp or D flat at the fourth fret. Then we've got a D, and if you ever need to tune your D string you can use that. Pretty much the same. I should really have tuned up properly. Anyway, next note, 6th fret, E flat or D sharp, which means 7th fret is E. Next time, no E sharp or F flat, we have just F at the 8th fret. Then we have F sharp or G flat. Then on the 10th fret we've got G. 11th fret we've got G sharp or A flat, and then on guitars the 12th fret is the octave, it's called, and that's where we get back to the same note. So that's an A and that's an A. Okay, so if we kept going, that would be an A sharp or B flat, that would be a B, C, etc, etc. It'd just keep going, although it looks really bright in this area so you can't see my hands really. So that's basically how it works. We can do the same thing along the top string. I'll go through it a bit quicker this time. So it'd be E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, okay? And then we could go through it on the D string, do the same thing. So it'd be D, then you'd have D sharp or E flat, E, you know, etc, etc, etc. So those are the notes that we have. So the most important thing is just to get used to that. So the concepts that people seem to really struggle with is just getting used to the fact that there can be a note that is 2 notes. It is both, this note is both B flat and A sharp wherever I find it. So this is a B flat or an A sharp, okay? This is a B flat or an A sharp. It's always going to be the same. That's a B flat or an A sharp. What that means then is that's an A sharp, and that's a B, B flat, okay? So that's the first concept, and you really should learn those notes, and a lot of people don't know them. It was really useful to learn them, particularly along the top 2 strings, so that when you do bar chords, because that's your root note. So if I want to play, for example, a B flat bar chord major, I can find my B flat and play my E shape. I can find my B flat and play my, okay? Obviously, if you've seen the previous lesson that I did on unlocking the fretboard, where I went through all the different shapes, you can see how I can use, if I find one, I can then find the next and do the next shape, and then I can find the next and do the next shape, you know, and then keep going doing the next shape up to the G shape, which is just ridiculous. So that's concept number 1. Concept number 2 is how do we build scales? Okay. We have lots of different intervals, and an interval is literally just the distance between 2 notes, okay? But we're only going to concentrate on 2 for this lesson. We're going to talk about tones and semitones, and they're very easy to see on a guitar. So I'm going to start with this G note here, and I'm going to move up a tone. And I get this A. It's 2 frets, that is a tone. There's a tone. So that's a tone. Equally, this is a tone. You can see where I'm going with this. all of those gaps between those two notes that I'm playing is a tone. And a semitone, as you could probably work out, is half of that, so it's 1 fret, so this gap. So that's a semitone, okay? So that's a semitone, that's a tone. And using tones and semitones, we build major scales, okay? Again, I'm not going to kind of go into because it's a long story as to how we came to this, but this is how we do it, okay? So I'm going to start with a G note, and I'm going to play up to the G note, which is up here, which is 15th fret on the E string, and I'm going to play through the G major scale, and I'm going to talk through the intervals that I use between each note. So I'm going to start by using a tone. I'm going to start at the G note, and go up a tone. So the second note in the scale is an A, and that's a tone away from the G. I'm then going to go up another tone, which is now to 7th fret on the E string, which is a B note. So I've got tone, tone. I'm now going to go up a semitone to this C note. There's a semitone. Then that's the 4th note in the scale. Then I'm going to go up a tone to the E, which is the 5th note in the scale. That's a D, by the way. I said E, just checking if you're paying attention. Those of you who are like, dude, that's a D. You're right. And that's the 5th note in the scale. Then we've got the 6th note, which is actually an E. I'm definitely sure this time. So that's another tone between D and E. It's a tone. See, it's 2 frets. You can just about see that. And then we've got another tone between E. I'll get out the sun a little bit. E and F sharp. Okay, that's a tone. And then we've got a semitone between that F sharp and the G note. Okay, so if I go through up here, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So if I play through that, just you can hear the major scale. I'll shut up briefly. Okay, that's a major scale, and we can do that starting from any note using that same horizontal move across the fretboard. Okay, so let's just pick one at random. Let's pick C because it's at the 3rd fret. So it's going to be exactly the same frets as I go down. So the first jump was a tone, so I went from G to A on this string. Well, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go from C to the 5th fret, which in this case is a D. Then I'm going to do another tone to the E, then a semitone to the F, then a jump of a tone to the G, a tone to the A, tone to the B, and a semitone to the C. C major scale, okay? And then we can do it from a random one. Let's do it from B flat. So this is our B flat. So we can go tone, tone, semitone. I do both notes. Tone, 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 semitone. Okay, so that is how you build a scale. It's all you need to do is you need to know the notes and what they are, and then you can begin to build scales by using the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and you can build them relatively easily horizontally across the guitar, okay? And the guitars are easy because I've got the frets to help you out. So yeah, so if I do it from this B flat, I can do the same thing. Yeah? Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. B flat note. Okay? So obviously I've learned all of the notes across all of the strings because, you know, I'm a guitar teacher, so I have to do those things. If you can do that, that is absolutely awesome. But that's kind of like the ultimate goal of unlocking the fretboard, is to know what all the notes are along the guitar and know how they relate to what key you're playing in and what scale you want to use and what sound you want to achieve. But this is the early stages. So at the moment, if you know what the notes are, okay, and you know how to find the roots from the previous video, which I'll put a link in the description, okay, you can then play any chord in 5 positions, because all you need to do is just work along one string and find that root, and then you can find all the other roots, okay? And then what you can also do now is build that major scale. So say you want to play, let's just take E flat as an example. I can work along and find my E flat along the A string. I know it's here, but I'll work along. So it's going to be A, then you could say A sharp, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, which is also E flat. Okay, so I can use that then to start building all my different positions. So there's my A shape, there's my C shape, there's my D shape. I can't go any further back that way because I'm running out of guitar. So that means I'll go back to my E flat here and work my way up. So that after the A shape, we then get the G shape. Then we got the E shape. We're back to the D shape. Yeah, you can see I've gone all the way through, and then I can keep going. If I can get my fingers stretched, and do the C shape again, and then the A shape, then I'm out of guitar again the other way. So using what I talked about last week and our knowledge now of what the notes are and how we can work them out, I can then play the cage system in any key. What I can also do now is, using the tones and the semitones, play that major scale, okay? At least horizontally across the fretboard. So if I start from my E flat, I can go up a tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to the E flat, okay? And what you can also do once you've done that is you can then work out what notes you're dealing with. So you can say, okay, I've got an E flat, that's not in the scale, so I'm gonna go to there, which is an F, then I've got another tone to there, which is a G, then I've got a semitone here to an A flat, then I've got another tone to a B flat, a tone to a C, a tone to a D, and then a semitone to back to my root note, my octave, my E flat. It's an octave because it's the 8th note in the scale. That's where octave comes from, because octave is normally 8. So, but there's 12 notes, so people often think that it's from that, but it's from the major scale because it's the 8th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 octave. Okay, so yeah, that's basically. Hopefully I haven't rushed through it too much. This is really, really important, but it's two things. It's knowing the notes, which a lot of people do already because they've had to study it at school. But if you don't, those are the notes that you have. You know, listen to it a couple of times and you'll remember, and then just watch as I'm going through each fret. You can see what I'm doing, so I can go, you know, so that you can get used to doing it yourself. And then, as I said, using that and using what I did last time, you can then find your cage system in any key. And then what we can also do now is build the scale horizontally in any key. I know I've said that lots of times, but that's really what I'm trying to hit home. That's what the aim is. By the end of, you know, once you've got all this concept down and you've learned this, you can do those things. You can do those two things. You can play the cage chord system in any key, and you can build the major scale horizontally across the fretboard. And then next Sunday, when I do the next video, it will be playing first position of the major scale vertically down, and then we will go through the 5 positions using the cage chord system as our guide. We'll go through those 5 positions, and then we'll use those 5 positions and that knowledge to then build the modes, and then we'll go through the modes. So there's a lot more scales to come, but for now it's just those 2 main concepts, okay? So yeah, put in the comments if you need me to go over it again, or if there's something you don't understand, just let me know, because I'm happy to recap on it. But hopefully you guys will all understand this, and then we can really crack on next time. I've just realised that I've pointed this camera so you can see how messy my desk is over there, which is terrible. And I'm just going to show you my awesome Star Wars t-shirt, because the trailer came out a few days ago, so there you go, there's a Tetris 8080. And now I've shown you that, I will say goodbye, because it's already Sunday, so I need to edit this video and get it up ASAP. And I will see you soon. Have a good week. Bye bye.